you start off why, right? With all these options and choices.
I'm looking for substance. So if you can't come with a substance level of conversation, I have no interest.
Okay.
You black man taking a liking to how my lifestyle is living and how I'm going, man, and you being intrigued, man. That's very humbling for me, man.
Yeah, so you've been doing a lot, George, man. I mean, I've been trying to keep up. I've been trying to keep tabs on you, and it's quite difficult, man. You are a busy, busy man.
Yeah, got to keep busy. Got to. So yeah, I've
Yeah,
actually slowed down a lot since March. Since I moved to a new town, so I actually have kind of decreased my output for right now. I'm trying to focus more so on quality and things that really will resonate instead of just throwing
right.
stuff out there. So
Yeah. Well, what I can read, man. I mean, the body of work that you put out, man. You put out some pretty amazing, detailed. I guess you would call it publications, man. I mean, it's all surrounding Black conservatism and, just what it means to be a Black Republican, Black culture, the different issues surrounding American culture. I mean, you go from everything from the LGBTQ community to women in sports to uh, gang life in the inner city. I mean, and that's what I mean by you being so busy, man. I mean, I think you've written over, I believe last time we spoke was over 100 Substack articles, correct?
yeah, since about August.
Since about August.
Yeah, this is when I started really. This is when I started writing like I'm doing and doing things like that. So
Okay. And then on top of that, you got your audio pieces, Black Conservative Continuum, random
mhm.
rants on Black conservatism.
Right.
You have a lot going on, man. So thank you for being a part of the show. I really appreciate you spending a little bit of time with us just to kind of connect and let people get to know you. I mean, you are definitely starting, in my opinion, to stand out for some of your views and your perspectives on things as being a Black conservative. I mean, last time we spoke, like I tell you, I myself am a swing voter, and I
Hmm.
tend to kind of try to stay balanced with that as much as possible because I do realize that the far side of each side of politics is just absolutely nuts. My
Right.
opinion.
Right.
Yeah.
It is.
My yeah, my opinion. I mean, I really kind of feel like both sides, when you're far right or far left, have some type of mental issue or mental hangups or just
Right.
stuck in like this kind of like either you're stuck in a time warp or you're stuck in a mode of being like everything is LGBTQ, everything is what is it abortions, everything. It's no room for anybody else. So
That's
I was
right.
happy. Yeah, I was happy to be able to connect with you, man, because it's tough to try to connect with people who are like that. They usually have a lot of energy. They usually push the bounds a little bit, but it's still tough to find somebody who is willing to have certain perspectives along that line, but it's
Right.
sensible enough to talk. So welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Okay. So let's just start off, man. I mean, if people want to get to know you, like I said, you come out of Memphis. You're a Memphis conservative. That must have been very tough
Really,
because of
yeah, Memphis is what it is. Really, it wasn't because I grew up in South Memphis. That's where I'm from. I lived in
okay,
Memphis for 40 years. I lived in Fraser my last 10. So I've truly been a Memphian. And,
right,
I realized my father was a political junkie. And I remember being 7 and he would tell me, come in here and watch C-SPAN. And we would talk about it at an early age. And looking back on it, my father had, books on black, revolutionaries and the mafia. My parents were voracious readers. My mother would actually
mm,
read when she ate. So it was always important that you take in information, but the way my parents did it, and I'm so glad they did it, is they had their views, but they told me, go out and find out for yourself,
right,
politically, spiritually. And looking back on it now, my dad used to listen to Rush Limbaugh. in the afternoons when he picked me up from school. So that kind of
Okay.
makes sense now. So I grew up in Memphis. I was diagnosed with bipolar at age 7, and I've been disabled since about age 9. Dealt with health issues all my life. I went through a 10-year cocaine addiction from about 2010 to 2018. I almost
Hmm.
died several times, multiple organ failure. And when I decided to recover, and I've been off cocaine since February 2018.
Okay.
When God told me, "Man, get up, I got something for you to do," and for 2 days I said, "God, when you show me, I'm gonna do it." And He gave me the inspiration to start my nonprofit Meta Association. Which, if you Google me, you'll see 8 years worth of me doing work. I've done food drive.
Mm.
Now, mind you, I've done this by myself with no donations, living on disability. About $1,100 a month for since 15 years. So I managed to do food
Wow.
drives. I taught I instituted a mentoring program for at-risk youth at an alternative school with Lancaster ISD. I've done many, many interviews. I've come up with policies. I've worked with John Cornyn's office. I've been to Austin. I moved to Dallas in 2018. So even while I was in Dallas, I was doing work in Memphis. I managed a couple of political campaigns for Democrats. I went back to Memphis to hold events there. So I've been very, very active with very, very little and have made an impact over the past 8 years. I'm slowing my nonprofit down right now.
Hmm.
And the thing is that happened, I've always been conservative, but it was never a big deal for me. I've even lived with somebody that was transgender for a while. Not in a relationship, but just been around them. I've been around all different types of people. Here's the thing.
Okay.
When Hulk Hogan died, I know this is going to be a funny story, and I hope if I bloviate too much, please pause me for a moment. I was
Let it
going.
rip. It's
Yeah,
only yeah.
I've been essentially homeless the past 4 years, kind of bouncing around. I got to my new place. I'm dealing with health problems. I got to have double cataract surgery. I got to have a bunch of surgeries coming up, so I'm dealing with a lot. But when
Okay.
Hulk Hogan died, I was on social media and I noticed something. I'm like, black folks are really kind of giving them the business. I'm like,
Hmm.
since when black folks start disrespecting life like that? Even I'm like, and what he said really wasn't that bad. Really, what he said was, I didn't want my daughter with a bum N word. Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the
Okay.
thing. I would have said the same thing. You would have said the same thing. It's just people have a problem with how he said it. I don't agree with how he said it, but I looked at the
Hmm.
sentiment, not the verbiage. And it was just like, okay. And I'm a big wrestling fan. I worked in the wrestling business. I worked with Bobby
Okay.
Horn as a booker for 18 months. I worked in the anime industry. I worked in the comic book industry. I worked in the film industry. I've done a lot these past 8 years. So let me get back
Okay.
to the point. So when he died and it came out, I wasn't pleased. I started looking at my people like we never did this as a diaspora before. When Charlie Kirk got assassinated, that's what flipped the switch in me. I followed
Okay.
Charlie Kirk for years. I think he was a masterful debater.
Okay.
I think that if you go back and really look at his stuff, he always treated people with respect. And I do a
Hmm.
podcast on Wednesdays. I've been doing for 3 years called Speak on It, and the host, I'm known for being the black conservative on there, and the host actually played Charlie Kirk's clips in full, and even he said
Okay.
he didn't say anything racist at all. He just hurt people's feelings. So I said, you know what? I've been a writer all my life. I'm getting ready to start writing. August 1st, I started writing essays and I ain't stopped since. I've written, yeah, I'm a lover of philosophy. I love Friedrich Nietzsche. I love Diogenes is
Oh,
my
yeah. I
favorite
love.
philosopher.
I read a
Carl
lot of
Jung.
Frederick Nietzsche. Yes.
Right. Carl Jung, Machiavelli. I watch something every day. Today I'm gonna,
Hmm.
when I get off, I'm gonna study Albert Camus. So I'm a lover of philosophy, and when that, I love the way that intersects with my political beliefs because I'm
Right.
conservative. I'm pro-choice for this reason. I'm not
Okay.
pro-abortion, but I'm pro-choice because I don't know the circumstances in which that child was conceived. I don't. I would feel strange having a woman that was victimized being forced to do that and not have that option.
Hmm.
That's the only reason. I'm not pro-abortion. I'm pro-LB. I'm pro-LG. That BTQ and all that other mess. No, if a man was to marry man, I'm fine with it. But I have a real I don't want men going in the bathroom with little girls. To me, if you transgender, to me that's a mental illness. I'm sorry, I don't care
Okay.
about people. That's just what it is.
Okay.
Here's the thing. I was in a position where I was asked to talk to a transgender person about manhood. And I
Okay.
tried. And about the third time I did it, I realized I got two sons. I do men's mental health. I speak on men's mental health. It's like, this is not a man.
Right.
When you get down to it, you are what's between your legs. I'm sorry. Biology is not bigotry. Now, you can do what you want to do. You can pump all the hormones, but understand, you're not a man. Okay, so let's get that clear. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I
Let me
know that's going. Yeah, that's why I get people. But you're not a man. If you got a vagina and a uterus, you're not a man. If you have a penis, you're not a woman.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a perspective that people have. I do just want to jump in, about the Hulk Hogan thing.
Okay.
Because I think when you were saying, like, what Hulk Hogan said, it didn't necessarily seem as though it was as bad as people took it, especially African American people. But I mean, could it just be because he is a white person using that word? And I know the pushback is always going to be, well, black people use those words as well. But I mean, I don't necessarily want a Hulk Hogan or anybody else who is not, who hasn't had to have a history that we've had to have. And I'm talking about not our history here,
Right.
but our history of our ancestors. I don't want to hear them use that word myself. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I just want to push back a little bit because I think that's where people were getting at with that. Now, I'm not one of these people who, like when Hulk Hogan passed, I don't think we should ever rejoice the passing of a person, especially for saying the N word, which he used multiple times, though it just wasn't in that instance as well. So let me just, because I'm trying to catch up with you because you are a smooth talker, man. You can go. I love it. No, I mean, it's all intriguing. And then the big thing for me is like you represent a paradox because first of all, you're willing to step onto a platform,
correct,
have a robust discussion, have a little pushback, have a full conversation. Then on top of that, you say, hey, I live with an LGBTQ person, or I think you call it LG now.
They were transgender. They were
transgender.
Yeah.
Okay, I think they fall within that framework. You said that you were hooked on drugs. I think that's compelling. When a person can be forthright and honest, I think you have nothing to hide about who you are. I mean, it just seems as though like, here's the big one. You're different from a lot of quote unquote, and I'm using anecdotal thought right here. But from what I've seen, there's not a lot of conservatives, whether black or white or any color, that is willing to engage the African American community as far as helping, supporting. It's usually something where you almost like stand back at the fence line and throw rocks. From and that's why I say it's anecdotal. It's just my perspective and what I view on it. But you represent a different paradox, man. So I mean, So I just want to say, like, really quick with the Charlie Kirk thing too. I think that Charlie Kirk falls within that line. Sure, people could say like, oh, he's only there to debate, and he hasn't said anything, outright, forthright racist. But the things that he did kind of make tones towards, and just some of his statements that he said were quite controversial and viewed as racist by a lot of people.
Incorrectly so. Very, and I will break this down to the minute. Okay. Very incorrectly.
Let's do it.
Okay, here's the thing with Hulk Hogan. This is why I'm not really mad at it. When he said that, there was a secretly recorded conversation. He didn't say it in public. He was in a private environment. I can't fault for somebody what they say in private. That should have never come out. Do I like it? No, but it is what it is.
Would that be a closet racist, though?
I don't get it. Do you want the truth, or do you want, what kind of answer do you want? The truth, of course. Here's the truth. Okay.
You said yourself, like, it's more about substance.
Literally my everyday life when I wake up, the things I go through, the things I do, I'm definitely finna start streaming and giving y'all the rawness, man.
This thing is very real. It's real, but the thing is, people who do this for real,
it seems that we only come together when it's something negative. Let's try to do something positive. I think we need to get back to more of that instead of the reactions of some.
All y'all come at you and sit your hands down. Let me tell you what's wrong.
They don't think they need it.
You begin to start understanding, like, this is what I like, this is what I want. You start off closet bigotry.
Man, we all closet. I got a friend, my brother, named, I don't want to say his name. I've known him since I was 19, white guy. Since I was 19, I'm 40. We were the best men at each other's wedding. Our sons had the same birthday. That's my brother. He told me, he said, George, everybody got some kind of prejudice in them. Everybody got some racism in them.
I actually say that. I actually say that to people. So I admit that too. That's what I say. Like, we all go home and say things that we shouldn't say. So I'll give you that. Yep.
But here's the thing. You can be as racist as you want to be, but how do you treat people? I spent a whole day with a KKK member. He treated me with the utmost respect. But I said I'm conservative, and you see, and black folks came out against me. You can be prejudiced. You can have notions. That's fine. I can't change people's heart. But it's when you externalize and express and use that feeling to subjugate and oppress, that's when it becomes a problem. So as far as Charlie Kirk goes, I've taken on a position with Turning Point that I'm working on right now. I'll be working with them as the city
congratulations.
Chairman. Thank you. Yeah, I'm the city chairman with them. I've already gotten 5 proposals. And what I love about them, it feels like a safe space because they're run by blacks. I talked to somebody about that position. When I took that position, everybody cut me off.
Like,
everybody
can you give us like you don't have to be specific, but who cut you off?
Man, so-called friends I've known for years, relatives. Well, I didn't talk to my family, but everybody cut me off. And that was fine because I looked at it like God is pruning me for something greater. And what I love about my interaction with Turning Point so far, there's no rhetoric. They don't talk bad about anybody. They're just like, hey, we got to get some programs to get some growth and help the black community. In my time, especially dealing with politicians in Memphis that do not like me, all I saw was money coming up missing. They never did anything to help the black community, a bunch of rhetoric and BS. I'm done with it. I'm not dealing with black Democrats. I worked with them for years. If you look at I was a campaign manager for Damon Curry Morris for school board. A couple of years ago, I was a campaign manager for Kendall Richardson for mayor of Dallas. I ain't doing that no more. No.
So they literally had an advocate in you, but because of what you had to go through.
I didn't make that apparent back then because I didn't really start coming out and speaking my truth until August. So before then, I was just working. You know, they had a Tyree Nichols protest, the young man that was murdered by Memphis police officers in Memphis. I was there. I was there. I got pictures of me there with politicians.
In support of the police or not in support?
In support of the family and to speak out against police brutality. I was there.
That's what I like about you, man.
Yeah.
I find that quite. Yeah. Go ahead.
I tell you what, they had another demonstration in Memphis. One winter, we had a couple of homeless people die. And so in protest, we went down to City Hall. It was cold and raining. And we laid on the ground for a while in protest. I've done that. But, you know, it's just funny how everything I've done since I've come out as conservative, somehow people want to, you know, delegitimize it. And it's like for 8 years for my nonprofit mental association, the first thing had been black mental health. I changed my focus. Last week I issued a statement saying, you know, I'm rebooting my nonprofit this year. I'm looking for a new board of directors. Instead of focusing on black mental health, I'm just going to focus on men's mental health. Men that have dealt with addiction, with trauma, with homelessness. I've got some plans that I want to do on that. And the funny thing, I had a friend a couple of years ago who called me. She's a wonderful woman. She runs her own nonprofit. And she told me, George, take the black out of that. Take the black. She said, don't focus on black people. She said, they don't support nothing. They're not going to help you. And in all these years, you know how many donations I've gotten from black folks? Nothing.
How many?
Nothing. I've got no donations, no grants in 8 years. So this run by blood. And I'm at a point now.
It sounds like you pissed more than just disenfranchised. I mean, you know, with things honestly, that you stated.
I would say this. I'm not pissed. It broke my heart a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it says. I guess that's a better way to say it. It sounds like you brokenhearted.
Yeah, I'm not pissed, but man, when August happened and I started speaking my truth and black folks really started kind of showing their true colors, it's like, I don't want to And I'm going to say, I met some great black conservatives. Charlotte Birdman running for Congress in Tennessee. I'm supporting her.
Yeah, I just watched some of her stuff.
Oh, yeah, I've been on her show once. She's awesome. I supported Dr. Marie Fagans in her bid for Shelby County mayor recently. She's a black woman and a Democrat. I was in meetings with her, helping her from Texas. So I've been active. And here's my thing: I don't really care that much about your race. I don't. Here's the thing: Black unity is dead. To me, it died around about the '90s. It's performative, it's fashionable,
Hmm.
it gets clicks, but it ain't real because all we have in common is melanin. That's it. And maybe a couple shared experiences, but my experience is so radically different from the next black person. We could no longer sit up here and say we're united because we're not. Have you seen black people unite for anything real on a real level recently? If you name one,
Um,
I'm listening.
well, I will definitely say that black people come together during times of great loss. We always have. So when the community feels as though, and I am talking about I will say this. I think what you just said is pretty true, is that black people have different experiences now that do not unite us. So for me, there is a inner city experience, and then
Hmm.
there's a African American suburban experience and
Hmm.
socialite experience and all these different experiences. I
Right.
think the ones that we talk about more so are the inner city issues. So I think black
Right.
people come together to against police brutality. I think black people have came together, even much to your point, which we talked about, the migrant crisis. I think a lot of black people have came out of the woodworks,
And
and I
that's
was
the
kind of
dumbest mess in
surprised.
the world. And that's the
Well,
dumb.
what I was saying
I'll go
was they
ahead.
come out. What I was saying is they have came out of the woodwork not for
Mm.
the support of illegals. Many have came out and not supporting illegals because it's taken away from benefits and jobs that
Right.
many people in the inner city have
Right.
had, and they can see the inequities of a person who is illegal versus a natural born citizen, a black person who is not getting the same fairness as an illegal person. So
Okay.
I'm
Okay.
more, so if I can get that, I mean, I've seen a few times. I've seen that a few times.
But here's the thing. We only unite when something bad happens. But what we should be uniting is being proactive and being and uniting on things that are going to improve us. Here's
Hmm.
my big problem with a lot of black Democrats and liberals, especially the kind
Okay.
that hate me. They're too dumb to recognize this very simple fact. Every other race, every other culture is allowed and encouraged to have divergent views. You can have your Asians on the right, Asians on the left,
I'll give you
white folks
that.
here. But here's the thing, and this is why black people will probably, if they don't figure this out the next year, would be politically extinct. We have 13% of the population. Why are we tipping to one side of the boat and not having black conservatives work on the right with blacks on the left to make sure that we are fully represented and fully codified on the political market? Why are we cheapening ourselves? If you have blacks that are on the Republican side and able to work with politicians to fully represent us, then we'd be so much better off. All we got is these Democrats that want us on the Democrat plantation, and we just keep saying, "Mass, okay." We happy with poke fat and grits. I'm off the plantation. I'm looking at down the mountain like, what's taking y'all so long?
Now, I mean, I resent that, like, and I resent that on the left side, and I resent the same energy on the right side.
Exactly.
When black people say that a person, like when you said you lost friends and opportunities and connections just because you became a Republican, people started calling you coon, Uncle Tom, all of these different verbiages that are negative and hateful and hurtful. But I reject it on the other side too. So when I hear the right say, especially black conservatives say, off the plantation, I think that gives the same type of energy. So we could never come together because of the words that we're using
But we got to get
towards each
over there.
other.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The plantation is. I use it more. I don't use it as insult. I use it more in the form of an allegory. And I wrote an essay off the plantation a few months ago that kind of spelled it out in a way that people, if they read it, will actually, get what I'm saying. But
Yeah. Hmm.
we got to stop being so sensitive worrying about verbiage. We waste so much time worrying about words and our feelings. My 21-year-old son just lost his mother. He had a stroke and all because he said something. Dad, he said, "Dad, I realized nobody gives a damn about your feelings. They don't. We ain't got
I get
time for that."
that.
And when I say some people like you hurt my feelings, Look at what I'm saying. Stop worrying about your feelings. I didn't call you out your name. I didn't talk about your mama. I just said something you don't agree with. And now
But
for something,
I don't necessarily feel like it's the feelings though behind it. I think it's just the words in general, right?
yeah, but yeah,
If I call a bunch of white people crackers and things of that nature, they're not going to want to like work
it's
with
true.
me,
But if you notice in my verbiage, if you read my essays, you don't see any of that. And people have
right?
said my essays are hurtful, and I'm like, well, it's your problem. I didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And you've read my work. You see,
I've read. I told you I
yeah,
liked it.
yeah,
I thought it was very good work.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but people interpret that as me insulting them. So if you do that, and I try to be, and when I write and I engage in discourse, I try to be as respectful and erudite as possible. If you interpret that as hurt, then I can't help you. You on some other stuff,
I mean, there are pearl clutchers on both sides of this
right? They
too.
are,
So,
yeah,
okay. So since we're talking about hurtful statements and separation and things of that nature from words alone,
right.
and I know that you know, a lot of black people spoke out a bit again, and they said the same things. I mean, a lot of people, wasn't just black people. A lot of people did not like Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And I know that you said that the things that he said was not
Right.
hurtful
Yeah, if you're a
or
rational adult
damaging
and
to
listen,
people.
if you're a rational adult with a
So,
good mind and you can listen and not be in your feelings and listen to what he said and
right.
you still interpret it as racist, I'm sorry, whatever your mama did to you, I can't help you.
So let me
I disengage. Sorry.
because so what I like to do on this show, like we discussed, is it's viewers who watch this show and hopefully they watch it from both sides of the
Right.
political fence, right? So asking these questions that people will want me to ask, or
Sure.
even that I want to ask, is that's why I like to do this. The only thing that I can promise is that this, you know, we don't shout on this show. We actually love civil discourse,
Right.
and
I
and
do.
I'm enjoying the conversation
Right.
with you, regardless of what my feelings are. I actually enjoy the conversations. I've been wanting this with Republican people for a while because, like I said, I am a swing voter, and I swing both ways.
Yeah.
It's things that I liked about Trump. I did not like the illegal crisis that was happening during Biden. I did not like the Afghanistan pullout. I did not like the let's see, the cattling of black voters, right,
Right.
towards the
Right.
party. I did not like those things, and I do believe in the diaspora of politics, and just like in policing, like we don't like police, but we still have to have. A lot of black people don't like police, but you have to understand that we have to have police that are black, or you have
Right.
no power. So I think that's what people are missing with this liberal thing, is that they're not realizing that you need a lot of black people in the Republican Party if you want opportunities
Right.
to gain power from that side of the fence as well. The
Right.
problem though that I see with the Republican side of things is that it's a double message for a lot of people. And I think that's where the Republican Party is failing by getting the minority vote, is because on one end, you're telling black people, come to us. We're the party that freed the slaves. Come to
They
us.
are.
We are
Right.
the party that offered equitable solutions for families. And then all of a sudden the liberal flip came, and now you guys are getting nothing for your votes, right? Come
Right.
to us, come to us, come to us. But then why they're saying come to us, it's you were giving your jobs, it's DEI, half the black half of the black employment within within our government, our national government, was released as soon as Trump came in. The bases were, those. Okay, there you go again. You have the Republican Party fighting for Confederate flags and Confederate statues. It creates a disposition for black people to not necessarily want to be a part of the Republican Party, but which brings me back to like Charlie Kirk. So proud. This is what he said. Just some critical things that he said. Prowling blacks, not prowling low-income people who are resource deprived, who are criminals, which can be, but prowling blacks. Prowling blacks go around for fun to go target white people. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. If you're a WNBA pot smoking black lesbian, so I mean, he's hitting a lot of things where people are like,
But here's my thing.
even
But what you just said, I don't have a problem with anything. If we can break it down, go one by one. I can explain why I don't have a
Yeah,
problem with
please.
about the
All right,
pilot
so
thing. Okay.
prowling blacks go around for fun to target white people.
It does happen sometimes. I've seen it
But doesn't it
happen when I was
happen?
young.
Doesn't
Um,
does it happen with white people towards black people?
It does, but it's not as evident. And my personal experience, I've seen it more so than I have on the other side. And here's the thing: a lot of times people, I encourage people sit down and watch the whole debate. Stop looking on TikTok and getting 30 seconds and making an assumption off that, because a lot of times the thing he says are not coming out of him; they're responses to other people. So, about that does happen. But about the pilot thing, sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I think the same thing. If I go to a black,
Really?
even if it's wrong, I do think that for us. You remember that episode of Sanford Son when Fred had to go to the dentist and he didn't want to go to a black dentist? That's real. A lot of us do think that way.
But
And,
is that stoked in truth and reality, or is that just something that is a racial trope, an
that's not,
anecdotal
it
thought?
had nothing to do with race. This is what it had to do with.
What?
He was saying it. I question, is that person a DEI hire? Did they get their job because they're really qualified or because somebody let them? To me, that's a real concern. I'm sorry. It just is what it
See,
is. I
I
don't care. If you come, I'm gonna question you. I got several health problems. Every time I go to, I'm
uh-huh.
seeing 7 different doctors. If I see a doctor even of a different race, I'm gonna wonder, If I see a white doctor, I'm gonna wonder, That's just reality. And if
But I
people
mean, we're
got a problem,
specifically talking about black
yeah, I'm
people.
gonna do it too. Yeah, it's just gonna happen. I'm sorry. It's
But a
just what it is.
DEI hire.
Yeah, I would think that. I think that a lot now when I go out. I do when I meet
So,
with people. Admit it. Yeah.
but I mean, even in an anecdotal perspective, it's not a ton of black doctors, black pilots, black dentists who
Mhm.
are wrongfully who are doing malpractice issues, who are, you know, doing botched surgeries, or who are crashing planes. I
True.
think
True.
I don't see a lot of black pilots who have crashed planes. I mean,
Yeah.
it's more white pilots who have faltered at the
Exactly.
cockpit than black people. So why would you think
Exactly.
of a DEI pilot being a black person? Yeah, so what I'm getting at is like, that's not come to me. That's
Yeah.
that's we don't want you.
Well, here's the thing about that. I've noticed in my personal experience, since I kind of started coming out as conservative, I've been
Mm-hmm.
greeted more by them. I don't like DEI. I don't. I don't agree with it. I don't think it's good. Sorry, I don't. And it's made for it's gonna be in all these programs that are in place, they benefit white folks more than benefit us. I've never been a fan of affirmative action. I just haven't been.
Well,
If you got
I'd say that. That's what
yeah,
I was going to say, is that
yeah,
more white women have benefited from DEI practices and policies than
yeah,
any black person across the board. But the
yeah,
thing that I get at is that when I think DEI, I don't think black people. I
yeah,
don't. Because I mean, think about it. This is, no matter what we say, I mean, it's well known. We already know that the numbers say it and the history says it. This is a white culture, okay? And
right.
there are a lot of highly qualified African Americans who are overlooked because of networking alone. And networking
Right.
would be my friends, my associates. And if I'm a white person, I'm going to have more white friends and associates than a black person. So I'm going to be more trusting of that person. But that is DEI. I mean, so for instance, like in the White House, a lot of black people who had a lot of professional backgrounds, who were very highly educated and decorated in the military and in politics
Mhm.
and science. Those people were let go for really DEI hires. I can't avoid that fact.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
White people.
I don't like DEI hires. I just don't, because
Okay.
it
Okay.
feels as though
Fair enough.
I get the impression they're less qualified and they got it because they're black. If they get it based on their performance and their record and their accolades, that's one thing. But me personally coming up, uh, if I ever got an opportunity based on being black, honestly, I wouldn't take it. I'm like, if
I don't
you
know
just want me
what
because I'm black just to fill a quota, you can keep the job. I don't want it.
the the only place where I've seen that possibly take place is within the liberal liberal party, the
Hmm.
Democratic Party. It's
Hmm.
like, I'll take you because you're black. But there's, to me, I've seen the balancing of historical numbers for more whites than blacks by Supreme Court documents
Right.
that change, like, hey, at this school, you've you've brought in 96%. Like, so for instance, Harvard,
Right.
okay? If your parents were an alumni of Harvard, and most people who are white, or went to Harvard, if your
Mhm.
parents were an alumni of Harvard, you actually get to be in Harvard
Yeah.
automatically. You're taken
As a
in.
they,
So
they call it a
therefore,
legacy. Yeah, they
so
call
but
it
therefore you
legacy
have to
admission.
balance. But that's what I'm saying. That is DEI, not the
Mhm.
other way around. The court saying that we need to balance these numbers out, and there are just as many intelligent, smart, and value Black people who need to be a part of this school as well. And we recognize, and this was a full court, we recognize that the imbalance is there and we need to balance it. That's not DEI, but I kind of feel like a lot of people are looking at that as being DEI, but actually it's the other way around. Legacy is DEI.
Right. It's networking, and I noticed when I was coming up in Memphis, I was a pretty smart guy. I always tried to work, but
Mm-hmm.
I could never catch a foothold in the corporate world in Memphis because it was all who you sleeping with and what cousin you know.
Yes,
So if
sir.
you
Mm-hmm.
didn't know the right Black folks in Memphis and you weren't part of the get along gang, you wasn't gonna get ahead. That's why I left.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's a dying city. It's a dead city now. I went there last year and it's like it's bombed out because of
I went
Black
last year.
Democrat
It was
rule.
bombed out.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'll give you that.
yeah, like what Justin Pearson recently did, acting a fool. I mean, he's Buckley
Uh-huh.
2.0. I've met him. I dealt with him. He's full of it. A lot of I could name names, but I swear I won't. You know the person we talked about last time. I had a real bad conversation with them. As soon as I said something about conservative that day, oh, she went off. It's like y'all
Yeah.
fake. All you
Yeah.
politicians fake. The county commission. I can't. I wish I could say what I know, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't. But they crooks. They not trying to help people. They all about who their friends are.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had ever since Mayor Harrington got elected when I was in seventh grade. It was pretty much Black Democratic rule in Memphis. And look what they done with it.
Mm-hmm.
They killed my hometown. It's dead now.
Mm.
They probably finna lose the Grizzlies. My son said the Grizzlies need to move to Nashville. It's just a rotten dead city, and you see what's going on.
But do
And
you
and
think that is a reflection of Black culture, or is it a
yes,
reflection
yes,
of
it's a reflection of. Ooh,
or a reflection of a unkept city with a lot of corruption in it? I mean, because Chicago had a white mayor for the longest, and corruption was rampant with the dailies. So I mean, it's
it's a
not necessarily Black; it's
It's not, but
corruption.
what I've seen is corruption and incompetence. Okay, I'm not cool with what the left is doing right now. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
trying to feminize Black men. I think they pushing an agenda that's antithetical to masculinity, let alone Black masculinity. I think they
Mm-hmm.
promote things that are breaking up the Black family. I think the Black church is an utter failure and a disgrace. I think that Black politicians, on the whole, as most, not all, but most, are just full
Mm-hmm.
of it and really the coons. Look at Jasmine Crockett. I was critical of her about a couple years before she even ran. The night
Okay,
she
Jasmine
lost,
Crockett.
yeah, the night she lost, my social media blew up about George. You
Mm-hmm.
were right, George. You were right. They held her out as a coon. They made her the Aunt Jemima, and I noticed something. Everybody ate that up. Everybody ate that up. Them liberals, oh, we love Jasmine Crockett. She never said anything about policy. All she did was scream in Congress, no policy, no nothing. She was an empty vessel, a loud empty vessel. And the Democrats use her to get folks distracted so they can get their person in. Understand
Mm-hmm.
something. Her losing didn't come by Republican opposition. It came from her own party. And I'm like, Black folks and liberals are so I don't know what to. I'll think of the right word to where it's like they throw somebody up in front of you and
Mm-hmm.
you just follow them. I went to a protest. I done a lot of protests. I went to a protest last year for I can't remember her name, for the lady that was pretty much being held in her office in the Capitol in Austin. To
Okay.
support her. She's a Democrat. I went to support her. I went
Mm-hmm.
with a group of older Black ladies, and they were very dignified. I'm like, this is gonna be a good experience for me. They really wanted me there, so we went. We
Okay.
protested, and was around the young woke people, the young Black people, and the type with the bull nose that smell bad with the purple hair. So we out there. I'm standing 3 feet away from one of them, trying to
Mm-hmm.
hope the wind kind of came my way. And we about 5 feet from an officer, and he's just doing his job. And they're like calling him a Nazi and a baby rapist. And I'm thinking, if this is what the Liberal Party, is espousing, I don't want a part of
Mm-hmm.
this. And then when we left, the older women, they talked to me. They said, George, this was disgraceful how they acted. I was ashamed. In fact, I
Mm-hmm.
was scared. I'm
Okay.
glad you were here. That's the energy I get from the left.
Okay. So Now we talked about, you brought up Jasmine Crockett. Okay, I just want to be clear. Okay, her reform measures are she supported reducing incarceration for nonviolent offenses. Let's see, she has pushes for alternatives like citations instead of jail time. She wants reduced police use of force and limit unnecessary arrests. She supports broader policing accountability reform. She has a lot of voting rights reforms, economic policies like raising the federal minimum wage, pro-labor, pro-union. She believes in increases in equality and the benefits with the wealthy disproportionality, gun policies. I mean, she's not just an empty vessel.
She's pretty empty, because here's the thing. That's not what you heard about. All you heard about is her whining about Trump, ICE, and she pushes a transgender agenda that eliminates everything, all what you said. Because here's the thing, I work with John Cornyn's office. He's a Republican representative. And I emailed him, I contacted his office about a year ago. I said, well, what are y'all doing for mental health and people incarcerated? He gave me line by line what he's doing, what he's supporting, what he's trying to do. Okay? That's what I'm into. Her theatrics basically diluted whatever positive thing she had to say. She eliminated herself.
Would you say her theatrics were quote unquote ghetto? I've heard the
yes, ghetto as hell.
So I want to ask, what about Marjorie Taylor Greene? Was that ghetto?
Yeah. I'm not gonna call one and not call the other. If you ghetto, I don't care if you Republican, white. I've called out Republicans on their BS hard. You know, you know, and people have seen me do it. So it's not as though and I don't call myself a Republican. I call myself a conservative, because I will cross party lines for the right, and I have done it. But I'm gonna call you out if I think you're wrong, no matter what. And trust me,
No, I got you. So I'm just saying, like, you know, in that same context of the position of Marjorie Taylor Greene versus
Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett. Thank you. So you spoke about this event that you went to with all of these liberals who were yelling at the police, who were calling them names and saying this and that. Couldn't you say the same thing though about January 6th rioters?
Yes.
That same thing happened. What's your views on that?
They disgraceful too. You wrong. That's the whole point. I'm not the conservative that's going to be like, well, I'm going to take up for my group and I'm going to ostracize yours. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Like you mentioned at the beginning of our talk, you said that there are extremists on the right and left. I don't support any of them. I don't support any.
So how do you view the president then if he is for the January 6th rioters being released from prison? You know, I mean, one police officer I know died, you know, during this. I mean, they stormed the Capitol. What do you feel about the president's decision to pardon many of those people? And many of them came back as, you know, they did crimes after they got released. So what do you think about that?
I mean, if you look at every president, if you notice before they leave office, they often pardon a bunch of people. Okay. It just happened. Clinton pardoned people. If I go back and look at it, I'm like, why did he pardon him? Obama did.
But they never stormed the Capitol, though. Those people.
Yeah, but you got some that did a lot worse. If you look back at president's pardons, you got some people that did a lot worse. So I'm not really worried about that. What you know, as far as Trump goes, people hate Trump. I don't agree with everything he does, but I respect him because I think he's probably one of the best presidents we had. I think Obama was a disgrace. I think it was an abject failure. I think he did nothing for black men or black people. He pushed this transgender agenda and all that mess, and he gave the Asians a hate crime bill. Where's ours? Where was this attention to black folks? He wasn't black. He's not black. Kamala Harris wasn't black. Obama and Kamala Harris were inventions of white liberalism.
I don't get it.
Do you want the truth, or do you want, what kind of answer do you want?
The truth, of course.
Here's the truth. Okay.
You said yourself, like, it's more about substance and
Literally my everyday life when I wake up, the things I go through, the things I do, you know, I'm definitely finna start streaming and giving y'all the rawness, man.
This thing is very real. It's real, but the thing is, people who do this for real.
It seems that we only come together when it's something negative. Let's try to do something positive. I think we need to get back to more of that instead of the reaction to something.
All y'all come at you and sit your hands down. Let me tell you what's wrong.
They don't think they need it.
You begin to start understanding like this is what I like, this is what I want. You start off
If black folks
okay.
13% of the population, what makes you think you actually got him in office? They throw Barry and Michelle up there as some paragons of black excellence. I'm proud of their accomplishments, good, but they don't represent a damn thing about me. I don't support them.
Mm-hmm.
That's not my thing.
So
I
so
don't agree with their
why?
pop. Hmm?
So let me ask this: as a swing voter, why is it if Obama and his presidency did nothing for you as a black person,
Hmm.
why is it so many other black people and suburban whites? I
Hmm.
mean, a lot of people went out and voted for Barack
Because it made them
Obama.
feel good. It made white people feel like, oh, I'm so liberal. I'm
Okay.
voting for a black guy, a sort of black guy. It
Hmm.
made black people feel, oh, we done finally done something. We ain't do a damn thing. That was just an image popularity vote.
So what
Nothing
about
really
Trump?
benefited. Trump is his own dude. I like the fact that when he came in, he said, I'm gonna come in and sign executive orders. Even though I don't agree with everything, he's got more done in
Hmm.
the first 100 days than the last couple did in the old administration. I didn't vote for him, but I voted for John McCain when Obama first ran.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I admire John McCain. Even though I don't agree with all of his politics. I'd agree,
Hmm.
I'm rereading his autobiography right now.
Okay.
So that's where I'm at, and it's not because and people love to say, "Well, you hate yourself." How the hell I hate myself? And my nonprofit been helping black folks for 8 years. I've been going to the hood doing
Right.
stuff. The stuff I'm doing with Turning Point focuses on the black community. I've got
Hmm.
programs to help strengthen marriages. I got programs to help institute trade programs. I got programs
Hmm.
to improve literacy. So I've been working in the black community 8 years, but it kills me because I'm conservative. Somehow that's invalid when most people that criticize me ain't done a damn thing. So
Yeah, I'll
if I
give
can
you
have it
that. I
done.
mean,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
seems as though like I said, I mean, you are doing a lot of things that most Republicans or Democrats don't necessarily want to do. Because I mean, most people who make policies about the inner city don't actually want to be in the inner city
Right.
on either side of the fence. So I mean, I definitely give you a lot of respect for that. For taking on that, man. That's a tough route to be in. It seems like you're in a tough position either way you go, because many of the things that you just spoke about are not even popular with the right as well. I
Right.
mean, some of the yeah. So I mean, that validates, you being a authentic conservative, because I'll be honest, that's the thing that makes me not want to be on the right, is
Hmm.
because the MAGA conservatives are very encroaching on a lot of the things that I, as a black person, take that I don't take for granted. Things that
Right.
like our history,
Right.
our place in this society. So, as a normal conservative, it used to be this viewpoint in the 80s and 70s and stuff like that. Republicans weren't that bad. It wasn't that bad to be a Republican as a
Mm-mm.
black person.
Mm-mm.
It became unpopular with Clarence Thomas after he took the
Hmm.
after he took from Thurgood Marshall. After
Yeah.
Thurgood Marshall passed, Clarence Thomas came into the Supreme Court, and he had these very wild far right views. I believe that's when the right really started. I mean, when the right became so unpopular for black people, and it's
Right.
just been escalating ever since that point. I
Right.
mean, and
Yeah.
now we've arrived with the Tea Party, we arrived with MAGA, and now you see what used to be normal conservatives actually split again into this even more far right eccentric party
Hmm.
that is so willing to step on everybody's toes.
Right.
It's not very welcoming
It's not
for a
exactly, and
minority.
and really a great symptom and a great sign of the sort of mental and intellectual distress on both parties has been social media, because
Hmm.
what it allows for echo chambers, and you have people that get in their little echo chamber where everybody thinks like them, and then they get so warped in that when they engage with other people, it's a problem. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? My thing is, well, this is what I ask people. Do you want your kids to be safe and get a good education? Do you want safe streets? Do you want to have a good living? It doesn't matter whether you're Republican or Democrat. We all want the same things. So let's work toward them. I agree in having two parents. I'm not a fan of single motherhood. If you can help it, you should not be a single mother. I'm sorry. I
Amen.
don't agree with that. I don't agree with it.
Amen.
So I'm like, that's why I made and I'll send you the proposals off air that I wrote to strengthen marriages, black marriages.
Mm-hmm.
We need that. My sons were raised in 2-parent households. My ex-wife said she wouldn't allow our sons to date a girl that did not have to come from a 2-parent household. She like, I just don't want,
Okay.
I don't want the issue. And even she says that because it makes a difference. That's not to denigrate single mothers. If you say anything, they feel like you hate them. I don't hate single mothers. I don't hate anything.
Mm-hmm.
Just in my experience, I think it's better for a child to grow up with a mother and a father.
No, I think that's psychologically proven,
Right.
time and
And
time again through study after study. And,
right.
I mean, it's been well known that the family structure is the key to a
Yeah.
healthy childhood.
Mhm.
You have a less likelihood for mental health and depression issues.
Mhm.
Resources are there. Family, love, support, the balance of the mother and father create a more well-rounded citizen.
Yeah.
So
And that's it.
I'm with you 100% on it. I think that's very well missing in the black community.
Right. And even though I'm conservative, I did this. About 5, 6 years ago, I volunteered as a CASA, which was a court-appointed special advocate for abused and neglected children. I had to take
Right.
courses, get sworn in. So I had
Mm-hmm.
cases. And there was one case where they had these 3 boys, and I don't even want to talk about what they went through because it breaks my heart to this day. They were
Yeah.
placed with a lesbian couple. So for months and months,
Okay.
I'd go to their daycare, check on them. I went to the house, I talked to them, and they asked me what I recommended. I said, place them with that family permanently. I said, they
Mm-hmm.
doing so well, and they got so much. I really don't care. It's 2 women. They got 2 parents. They're taken care of.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people wouldn't agree with that. But here's my thing. Ain't no straight parents doing it. Straight parents don't volunteer and do that. If this couple is willing to do it and can provide for these kids and they happy and healthy, that's what's most important to me. Okay? Just on the real.
Okay.
Okay, I'm a conservative, but I ain't a damn fool. You know what I'm saying? It's not, and what I hate is that so many on the left and right, they have to feel like they have to follow so lock, stock, and barrel. But it's almost dogmatic and it's sickening. No,
Yeah.
there are times when you have to, bend on your beliefs for the right thing. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
the world is gray, and I think that's the
Right,
problem with politics is that politics is either black or white. It's no
right,
gray in between for these hardline thinkers. There's no
right,
flexibility. So I think that's where we both kind of stalemate with being able to work with each other because, like you just mentioned, what's right is right. It doesn't matter if what your views are about a person, but I kind of feel like when you mix in religion or when you mix in ideology too much,
mm-hmm,
you do not get to make proper decisions. That's why you have people, even though they see wrongs possibly in the Republican Party, they won't speak up. And it was the same thing with the left. They seen wrongs as far as like the encroachment of the LGBTQ community within the society framework where people were, like let a guy in the bathroom with a bunch of girls. And that's not going to work in society. So the hardline thinking is the big issue, man, which is why I really, appreciate. I
right,
really appreciate. I mean, I don't agree with everything you say, George, just like we
right,
talked about before. I'm not supposed to, but I
right,
am supposed to listen and respond in a way where we can continue to communicate and possibly
right.
come up with solutions.
Solutions. Yeah. Yeah. The point is not to, I always tell this, I started saying this in August and everything that I do. I said, my objective is not to change your mind. It's to express
Mhm.
my viewpoint and learn from you. There have been some views that I've adjusted my stance on based on discussions I've had with liberals. But it's just
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, once I say something, I get called a coon. I get called a nigger. I get called
Mhm.
Uncle Tom, which they use that incorrectly. I get called this. So, and it's mostly from black women. And I realize they have weaponized the black women against the black man. The biggest threat to black men right now is black women. Sorry, I'm gonna say it. I don't care if you like it. If you want to talk about it,
Man,
I will talk about it. They have
that's
weaponized black women. Yeah. They have.
You're gonna have some
I,
problems, man. You're gonna have a lot of people on your Facebook page. You keep saying
I
stuff
don't.
like that.
I've been saying it. I've been saying it since August. That's
Right.
fine. I've said it
Right.
openly. I've discussed it openly. I've talked to my son. My son is 21. We talked about this all the time. They have weaponized the black woman against the black man. Why do you think you have so many black
Mhm.
men not marrying black women anymore? Why do you think you got
Mhm.
so many black men saying, especially my age, 48, saying, "No, we're not doing relationships. I don't want to deal with the
Mhm.
attitude. I don't want to deal with that mess." And it's so bad because it's just a small section of black women like that it
Mhm.
pollutes the waters of the good black women, of those that are supportive, of those that are intelligent. It's like
Mhm.
it's truly one apple spoils the bunch, and that's the perception. Black women do not have a good perception in society. They don't.
What do you
And
think? What do you think are those issues that take away from the perception of black women
the breakdown.
besides beyond the family?
Okay, here's the thing. When segregation, really ended, and you start to see more of a leftist mindset in the black community, it really destroyed the black church. The black church now accepts things that are antithetical to God, to be popular. If you notice, I don't feel that any Democrat should ever walk into a church. I don't feel like you should have politicians in the church at all. I was going to church,
Mm-hmm.
Kissimmee Gardens back in Memphis years ago, and Steve Cohen, who's in the news right now, came in with a bucket of chicken. We ain't seen that man no other time, but here he come with an 8 piece and a 40 ounce for all us in the congregation. Like we're gonna be able to get a piece off all that. It was embarrassing, and it's like that's what they
Is this
think of you.
literal? Are you saying this is literal, or
Oh
what?
my
Are you
God,
just
yes. I was in church with my wife and my baby boy at the time, and he came in. I remember him walking up with some chicken. He ain't had a 40 ounce. That's a little hyperbolic, but you know, I mean, and actually, here's the thing. There's a picture of him that got released last week of him eating KFC chicken.
okay?
So that's what we dealing with. These,
Mm,
especially in Memphis, them black Democrats, they don't care about the city. They're not doing anything. All they doing is, I've heard of a politician had a couple $100,000 to distribute. Half of it came up missing. Nobody knows where it went. Never made the news, but I know about it. So, I've kind of seen the inside, and that's why I have a lot of the views that I do. But we are
mm.
not a monolith. I think we need to change in society where we identify on racial background and stuff and ethnicity. We should be aligning by ideology. I think that's where the
Okay.
real power comes in, because you can't control being black. So here's my thing: that's not anything to unite over anymore. It's more your ideology is going to benefit more than your race. And one thing I don't like that the left has done is indoctrinated our people, my people, to be victims.
Okay.
Everything.
Black
Oh
women. Do you
Lord.
think
Oh
black women cry victim a lot?
hell yes. Oh my God. Especially if you dating them.
Hmm.
Oh, I've been out.
How so?
I've been single 4 years, and it's like all I hear is victimhood. All I hear is victim. Well, he did this to me. He did that to me. And this
Hmm.
guy. And I'm sitting there singing talking to these women. I'm like, you keep saying the same dude's doing the same thing to you, and you a victim, but you don't see what you did in that. You don't see your culpability in it. It's like
Hmm.
victimhood. Victimhood is almost aphrodisiac to people. You know what I'm saying? And it's no
Hmm.
accountability. There's no backing in. And I was in a situation. I was staying with a friend, and she had a 19-year-old black daughter, and the daughter was in the kitchen talking about white oppression. And I moved out the
Hmm.
next day because here's my thing: you're 19 years old. You're ordering Chick-fil-A on DoorDash on that all day on TikTok on the 1200 iPhone, $12 iPhone. You can go where you want, do what you want. If you call
Hmm.
the police, they're gonna come. How the hell are white people oppressing you? That disgusted me. I left the next day. I haven't talked to that person since. And it was back in January. It was that really was the straw that broke the camel's back. I said, they making our people into punks. This pussification of black folks got to stop.
Okay.
I'm just sorry. And
Okay.
what they doing to black men, we have the Roland Martins, the D.L. Hughleys, the Don Lemons, these feminine dudes, these Ricky Smiles, these feminine black dudes espousing mess. They just trying to get every black boy to bend over for them. Nothing about manhood, nothing about accountability, nothing about enfranchisement, nothing about starting business. We hate Trump, Trump bad. It's nothing there. It's no
Mm.
substance. When Don Lemon walked in that church, they should have blew his head off. I know some black churches you tried to miss. Man, Big Mama in the front would have had a pistol and handled it. That was disgusting. That was
Now,
disgusting.
I mean, just because he came into the church, or I mean, what did he do? What did he
He
do that was
stormed the church.
violent?
Yeah, it
But
was
what
it
did he
was
do that was
violent.
violent enough
That was
to
violent. No, no, no. That's
deserve
violent.
that?
I'm sorry. I don't. You storm a church. You get whatever come to you. I'm one of them people. That was violent. You storm a church doing service? Where black folks do some mess like that? Even black folks
Okay,
don't mess with
so
church. No.
in that same breath, a lot of Republicans were very upset when Ashley Babbitt was killed, right? The woman
Right.
who stormed the Capitol.
Right.
What do you think about her? Should she have gotten that as well for violence that
Yeah.
she committed? So,
Exactly. If you storm anything, you gonna FAFO. Like Renee Good. If Renee Good had been at home with a child, she'd be alive.
mm, mm-hmm.
Real talk.
Okay.
That
Okay.
other guy, the other white guy, if he had been at home, you been minding your business, you'd be alive. I'm sorry. That wasn't a
But do you under
protest.
but you do understand that, you are in with a party
Mhm.
that widely has accepted that Don Lemon shouldn't storm a church and he deserves some very violent consequences.
Mm-hmm.
But Ashley Babbitt and the other Capitol rioters
Mm-hmm.
didn't deserve any type of violence.
And they wrong for thinking it. And they wrong for thinking
So
it.
how do you
Like
balance that? So how do you balance that, being a Republican, being a black conservative, and having to have those conversations with people who within your party widely doesn't believe in what you are saying to be logical and true?
Well, I do like I do everybody that I don't agree with. I say, you have this viewpoint, I don't agree with you. You can either mess with me or there's the door. I do that with folks on the left. I do it with folks on the right. I'm not
So
going to
do you get pushback from the right as much as you do the left?
Yeah, there was this one lady a few months ago. I'm trying to remember because this is very poignant. I don't know why I can't remember, but it was some discuss about it was some discuss about police brutality, and she was saying, well, he should have or something, and I corrected her on it, and everybody was like, George, you're right, she wrong. A lot of conservatives, they will call people out. If you just say something that's just out the frame, you gonna get roasted by them. Not. It's not like it used to be. It's not, because I think on the right now, especially I've noticed in terms of police brutality, they're not going to just yell racist. They're going to look at it more. Like the thing with Charlie Kirk, people are going to actually, on the right, and they have a brain, they're going to actually sit and look at the full thing and get context. Because here's the thing, we're too emotional now. We become a sissified, over-emotional society. I'm a stoic. You know, I've been through a lot. I lead by emotion, not my heart. Your heart will get you in trouble. If you don't levy your heart with your mind first, you're always going to have problems. If you look at guys in jail, they're mostly there for something emotional. You know what I'm saying? But those that can take that. Yeah, and we need to teach that to our black boys because we're making them soft.
So you know? let me ask this. Have you experienced any type of racism within the Republican Party, being a black conservative?
Nope, but as soon as I came out, I got called niggas by white liberals and my people and stuff. But I can say this, I grew up in Memphis in North Mississippi. I spent a day with a Klan member at a flea market. I never heard that until our white liberal saviors wanted to say it. You know, Malcolm X wonders about them people, but look at what we doing. You know, from other black folks. But I can say that before they, and that doesn't mean they didn't feel that way. Here's the thing. I'm gonna write an essay about that day I spent with that Klan member. He showed more.
He absolutely should.
Yeah, he showed more respect and engaged in better discourse than the average black person does, knowing I'm conservative. Now, what does that tell you?
Yeah, that tells me that black liberals have a very strong viewpoint about conservatives, but that also tells me as well that conservatives have to do a better job of cleaning up their image in order for, because it's not a pretty view from either side.
It's not because
honestly.
Yeah. But there is a stereotype because I have to fight it every day. But
that's why I'm a swing voter, because I can't decide which one I hate more. Okay, because it's so much nastiness on either side of the aisle to where it's very confusing. I mean, I don't see a difference between a Jasmine Crockett and a Marjorie Taylor Greene.
It's not.
I think they're both. I think they both humiliated both sides of the fence when they were arguing back and forth with each other. Okay, but I'm not willing to say like Jasmine Crockett is a horrible person. I just think it was not a classy show from both of those ladies, and I wish that they could actually came together. Because, think of it now. Jazz is out. And also, Marjorie Taylor is out as well. Right? They both got done wrong by their own
party. Because you know why? Because they acted that way. The liberal. Okay, this is my analogy for Jasmine Crockett. Okay. When she lost because of the Democrats, you know that scene in Goodfellas when Tommy goes to be a made man. That's what they did.
Yes,
to her.
I do.
That's exactly what they did to her. She was caught. She thought election night. She thought she was in. They put the bullet. You know why? Because just like they realized Tommy was going to be too much trouble, they realized old Jasmine was going to be too much trouble. She got Joe Pesci.
Well, you know, I find that quite distasteful as well, though, because even though she was who she was, she really. I mean, think about it. This woman was an attorney. This woman did not have to be in politics, and when she got into politics,
she shouldn't have been.
But I get it. But at the same rate, what I'm getting, what I'm getting at is she performed at a high level for what the liberal agenda was. And she was their stage performer for a very long time. And they needed her. And then as soon as they got the opportunity to sideline her, because I felt like I don't think they felt as though she was ignorant. I think they felt as though she was very powerful. And if her voice would have gotten so popular, they would, but not the pop, not the power that some may think. Because I think that Trump is the same thing. A powerful clown, okay? He does some clown shit. He does great things from time to time. But I mean, everybody can do some good sometimes. But for the most part, the crazy theatrics and the performative stuff is just outlandish, okay? Yeah. So I feel like the same thing for both of them. But what I'm saying is, I felt as though she was given the door just because they didn't feel like they wanted to have to deal with her in the long run. I think she was too outspoken. I think the same, and I think about what's happening, and that's why I'm so upset about, especially those two ladies right there, because they had so much more to offer by not arguing with each other. If they would have just worked together on both sides of the fence, they had enough opportunities as being women to make things happen on both sides of the party. But they clowned out, and they both got put out by their party for speaking up too much.
Right. That's wrong.
No, go ahead, please.
They were both liabilities to the party. I think Jasmine Crockett could have a wonderful career as a content creator. I think that's her station, but not in politics. I'm from Memphis. I'm a big. I want to one day meet Judge Joe Brown. Growing up in Memphis, I hear stories about him.
I met him.
There was an anime store I worked at called Animax, and he actually came in about some Star Wars stuff, and I just missed him. And I like what he says, and he went off about Jasmine Crockett. He told
let's talk to him. Let's talk to him. I'll see if I can get him on, man. I would love to have him back on, man. He's been on this show. He is a very colorful person. He does not hold back, just like most of our grandfathers, right? He does not hold back at all. And it was quite fascinating to hear his perspective. So, man, I would love to have him on. And you know what, George, man? I would love to have you back on as well, man. I really love the conversation. I mean, and like I said, it's not about agreeing. It's about listening and learning and talking, communicating, and I think we both did something that both of our parties, well, not our parties, but both parties could maybe learn from, is the ability to communicate effectively and to have a robust conversation without bringing in those negative elements. There's no reason why you should have been called a coon for wanting to be a Republican. There's no reason why I should be called a neutron or whatever for being a swing voter. There's no, this stuff is silliness, and it is so, and the thing is, like, I think it was Ronald Reagan who said that, like, if aliens came, right, we would all have to come together and fight, if we, or if a foreign, actor came in, we would all come together, just like 9/11. Everybody forgot this. Everybody forgot about this when people were digging through the rubble, trying to find survivors. And we got to think like that.
Yeah, because I give this example to people. I'm like, there's a little red button in the White House that if it gets pressed, none of this crap is going to matter anymore. That little red button will make that's called the act right button. You know what I'm saying? So, we have to keep that in mind and understand that divisiveness is profitable. Conflict is profitable. That's why we have it.